Welcome back to another episode of Fast Break. And this is not episode number 1, but it's episode number 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Hey, guys. And we've got the professor back here as well.
Hey.
Professor's back with us today. And also Scotty the Freak Lotta is with us. And I am Ray Halbrook, master of ceremonies today, apparently. So we've had a great we've had a great pre-production meeting. It has lasted about 15 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, we have a amazing Fast Break episode 2 ready for you to go. And before we get started here, Scotty, I'm going to bring it back over to you here. And what are we going to talk about right now here, Scotty?
Well, since we have the professor back in studio, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about his book.
The book. Look at that. There it is. Get it to him. There it is. I like it. Nice. Very nice. If you haven't checked it out, The Next Level book, it is in the house now. And we appreciate the professor for bringing the books for us. I have a signed copy now. That's pretty awesome.
You can also get a digital copy on Amazon.
So there you go. Look it up. And the name of it is Next Level. So
a recruiting guide for high school basketball players. Sorry to get you the hard copy 5 years after I wrote the book, but better late than never, right?
Coach, lean into it.
Better late than never.
There you go. There we go. So there we go. There's your shameless plug for the day. But what else we're going to talk about here, Scott?
Other shameless stuff.
Shameless.
But, we usually start the show by talking about Jeffco and St. Louis Archers basketball. So let's start there. Obviously, we are currently on the holiday break for the programs. But since we have the professor in, we wanted to kind of, pick his brain a little bit here and see if he's got some thoughts on Jeffco basketball. Obviously, we give tremendous accolades and props to CB Walker and his staff, for what they do over there. And Coach, just wanted to kind of dive into your brain on the shallow end, see what we can, what we can get.
Well, we're over the break now, and they, the teams are basically halfway into their seasons, but now they go into region, play a lot. And I think for both teams, this year it's been a little different. I guess the first thing I want to say is the recruiting landscape has changed a lot in recent years. And maybe on the men's side at the JUCO level, this doesn't apply quite as much, but for the women's side, the recruiting's getting a lot harder because there's just not quite the supply. There's a ton of schools offering women's basketball. And so the look for the positive in every situation for women's basketball players, girls basketball players in high school. There are a lot of scholarship opportunities out there, but there's just not quite enough to go around. So I think the women have kind of struggled a little bit this year, where it's been a really, it's run like a machine for the last few years. But I think what they are going to run into in the second half of the year is they start off with a really favorable schedule. They can probably get on a little bit of a win streak. I think they're going to be all right down the stretch. On the men's side, they are really scuffling. I think they only have a couple of wins. But this is not unexpected. You got to think about what they did here. They brought back men's basketball just a few years ago. This is totally on schedule, to be honest with you, because it's going to take, I'm sure, look at Coach Walker, CB's commitment to the program, coaching both teams when they brought the men back and taking all of that on. And this is at least a 5-year install, if not longer. And
so how does that work? Because you only get 2 years.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I think a big thing there is especially again, going back to recruiting, is building that culture and building those pipelines, because you want to have a nice mix of, yes, transfers, because now a lot of really talented players are being pushed downward by what's going on at the upper levels. You look at Division I basketball. Now we have, you had the extra COVID year, you have all the portal stuff. You have Eastern European pros now coming in, and all of a sudden big college programs are looking to sign, G League players and looking for all the loopholes they can do to get former pros into. That's just going to push a lot of that talent downward. So on the men's side, you're going to be able to collect a lot of that, but that's going to take time. And so finding, getting that mix, building those connections locally and also in other locations. He's right on time with the men's program, and you're going to have, maybe some down years in there, and they experience really good success out of the gate. But there will be some dips. It's a roller coaster. It's a broken road of success upward for that. But like I said, on the women's side, I think they are going to be okay in the second half for sure.
So with the women's side, you talked about the recruiting. Why isn't it mirrored by the men's side, where the men's side has all this extra competition for spots? Why are we not seeing that on the women's side? You've got the WNBA, you've got greater exposure to the college program. Why is it not the same?
Well, one is what I said, that there's just a lack of supply. There's not as many female basketball players at the high school level wanting to move up to the college level. Yet there's basically the same number of programs. The other thing, it's that dirty M word, money. Money touches everything.
Yeah.
And on the men's side, there's just so much more money available. So there is going to be a lot more of competition at those highest levels. And you got to think, these coaches at Division I who make $10 million a year, now we're paying players, and sometimes in excess of $1 million a year.
That's crazy.
But before, where it's like, these 18 to 22-year-old kids are determining your future as a coach. But now there's so much money involved that even guys we think are good guys like Scott Drew at Baylor and other people, they're like bending these rules and trying to get these G League guys to come back to college, guys who have been drafted and things like that. So there's just so much more competition, and it's pushing so much more talent down at the men's side. And even though the women's game, and honestly, it's an argument for watching the women's game. I don't mind telling you, I've lost a little bit of interest in higher level college basketball, even though the product is really good. But the women's game, to me, is still a lot more pure, if you will.
Yeah.
But that's why.
Yeah. I made the comment last episode about, just the, for CB especially, on the Jeffco side here, him having to take on both teams, but also still just kind of saying, you know what, we're going to take this bull by the horns, and we're going to do everything we can to market this team and do everything we can to, get that exposure out there. And you see him out there more. And I hate to knock on the other coaches there at Jeffco, but you see him more out than most coaches locally here. And I know because, you see the things that he posts and things where he's at and what he's doing and things like that. And I think that right there says a whole lot about the importance and the buy-in that he wants to have here for the lady and the men Viking teams, and be able to, market this the right way.
The dedication, his dedication is unmatched.
Are we sure it's dedication and it's not that old Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity, where he's just somehow found a way to clone himself?
Right.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
That would help, because it's not, there may be a few things you can kind of double up on when you're wearing both hats. But generally speaking, no, it's the one full-time job that he already had with the women, and now it's that second full-time job. And coaching at the college level, or if you're just a high school coach of any sport, it's so time-consuming and takes so much effort that it's truly unbelievable what he's doing. But as far as anybody who might, and just to get ahead of something, because I'm sensitive to coaching criticism sometimes, probably oversensitive, if you will. Anybody
put that hat back on, did you?
Yeah, here it goes.
He did.
My sensitivity hat. But anybody who might say, well, the men, they came out and they had more wins a year or two ago, or this or that, has nothing to do with him because his effort level, he puts in twice as much effort.
Yeah.
And everybody knew the deal when he took this on. This is normal. You're going to have some bumps in the recruiting. And while you're building those connections, to have a stray year where you're maybe not just, 11 wins, 15 wins, 20 wins in a region championship and so on, that's just not the reality of it. Yeah. And if everybody's patient and wait, 2 to 5 years from now, I think you're going to see an absolutely solid, stable, and winning men's program right here in Jefferson County. What a blessing it is to have that again, just like he's done with the women's program.
Excellent. Let's take a look at the other side over there, the north side, we'll call it there, the St. Louis Community College Archers, men and women as well. And, bumps in the roads, especially for the ladies. But let's talk about the men here real quick, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, the program, obviously, last year, they got off to that hot start. And then, obviously, they kind of cooled down the stretch. But, just the consistent message and, just they had some injuries, but for the most part, I think the schedule just kind of caught up to them a little bit. This year, again, they were, right before Christmas, they were above the 500 mark, and then they had like a 3-game swoon here. But, I think kind of what, Coach was saying here, it's like the coaching message is consistent. You're getting the same direction, and this program is going to, they're going to have a little bit of, up and down, but, I think they're definitely pushing in the right direction.
I agree.
Yeah, well, St. Louis, they have on the men's side, Terry Collins, longtime legendary head coach.
Very applicable.
And they always get a lot of talent. The St. Louis area, as we know, is a lot of talented basketball players, and he has some good recruitings, guys on his staff, and good connections for that. And I think they're running about 500 so far this year.
They're 6-8. They were 6-5. They had a 3-game losing streak.
Okay, but these teams and Lewis and Clark, Coach Lacey, they've come back really strong this year in St. Louis. They've had some good games, and Jeffco we just talked about. Really good area for JUCO basketball, very competitive. So to be 6-8, that's not a failure at all either. In the JUCO ranks, you're just trying to get better for the end of the season and make that push in your region. And as you mentioned on the women's side, it just goes back to maybe that difference in culture and those factors between the men's and the women's game. And they're definitely suffering. While there are good girls basketball players in the St. Louis area, the best ones seem to move on to bigger programs. And then the rest, who would be good fits maybe at a St. Louis community college, are choosing not to play college basketball for the most part. So it's just a difference in supply more than anything else.
But is it more of a competition issue? Because we also kind of briefly, before we went on air, we talked about, Lindenwood, we talked about Webster Groves. We kind of talked about some of those other programs that, Webster, not Webster Groves, but you have, those other established programs that maybe you're trying to fight with or, tug of war with, for a local player.
Yeah, and if you're a community college and you're probably, I'd say, 75% of the time you're going to lose that battle with an established 4-year school. It's just, even if maybe you try to make the argument, you guys know I coached at Lewis and Clark for a couple of years and did a lot of recruiting. You try to make the argument to the kid, we'll come here for 2 years, develop, you'll get to play a lot more minutes. And you got to be sensitive how you put that too, because you don't want to get that to get back to the other coach, and then they're just out to get you, and say, okay, well, I'm not going to let them out recruit me ever again, and have it out for you a little bit. You got to be sensitive in how you say things, but yeah, I think that definitely exists.
Excellent.
That's my line. Excellent. Excellent.
I only said it once.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, we're going to take a break here real quick. We'll be right back with the next segment.
Men to do what they do. Devoted, skilled, solving problems before there are problems. Just like the team at Crystal Heating and Cooling. 60 years of teamwork and dedication. To Crystal, you're more than a customer. You're a friend. Top reviews, decades of experience keeping your home safe and comfortable through any weather. And Crystal Care Club with included maintenance and free financing options. For 60 years, Crystal puts their heart into your comfort. Crystal Heating and Cooling.
At Girardi Agency Missouri Farm Bureau, we're dedicated to safeguarding your present and securing your future. Whether it's auto, home, life, health, or business insurance, we offer comprehensive coverage tailored to your needs. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. Our office has been located in Hillsborough for over 30 years. Please contact our office today for a quote. 636-797-5800.
And we are back to talk a little bit about our local tournaments that have already happened, not ones that are coming up, but we will probably preview those down the road here. And taking a look at some of these local tournaments here, I'm going to turn it over here to the professor here real quick. We had about 3 or 4 tournaments here, and wanted to just kind of get your take on some of these, Coach.
Well, I believe the first tournament you covered this year was over at Crystal City, the Rolla Duke Herbert tournament, named for a longtime great coach at Crystal City and
In Herculaneum.
yeah. But maybe we claim him a little more at Crystal City
Yeah, you
because we've
probably do.
honored him
Yeah.
at the name of the tournament.
Yeah, you
But,
know, you probably do.
no shade, Herky. No shade. All but luck.
Played
Nothing but
for
love.
it. I played for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Long
right.
time ago.
I forgot that.
A long time ago.
But we were there. I was there anyway on championship day. And who won that thing in the end?
Jefferson
and St. Clair played, and Jefferson beat them. Very impressive effort by Jefferson all week long. And their coach, Tyler Search, is their new coach. And I was very impressed by the Jefferson Blue Jays, their balance, their shooting, their toughness on defense, especially in that final.
Yeah.
And for the Blue Jays, I mean, if you kind of look at how they started out, you know, they beat Crystal to start, then they beat Saxon Lutheran, second. That's right.
Yep.
Saxony. Yeah.
Yep.
And you kind of notice is like as the games got harder, you know, the point totals got lower, but that shows me that they can win a game where they can score a lot and a game where maybe it's more defensive minded. And with all the weapons that Jefferson has, it's like, come on, guys. Like it's almost embarrassing the kind of weapons that they have.
Yeah, they did it. They did a great job. They found different ways to win. And again, with a new coach, which I know Coach Search from way back, and he's a very, very good coach, and I think he's a great fit there. They're just kind of figuring things out, but he's got a talented roster. Like I said, the balance, they've got that size, they got that rebounding, they got great, shooting, great, a couple of really good defensive guards, put a lot of ball pressure on people. So, yeah. And then I just want to mention right now in the Christmas tournament coming up, their path will go through a really, really tough Farmington team. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in future episodes. But pick up a nice tourney win there at Crystal City.
Excellent.
Do you think Cooper Frisk has, maybe like some sort of advertising, if he's like a cat person, maybe he could like a deal with like Friskies?
Oh. Daddy and Mommy Frisk, ding, the light bulb goes on. I'm sure of that.
He's very personable.
That'd be
I'm
great.
saying he could.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I like it. What other tournaments we got here, Coach?
Well, then I believe the week after that, we had a couple other tournaments with local teams. The Black and Red tournament at Herculaneum, the girls tournament, which you covered. Scott, did you say you did every game there?
That was a marathon, not a sprint.
All the place games on Friday night?
Every step of the way.
Yep. And then also in the second, we'll talk about the Gene Steighorst tournament over at Hillsboro.
Mm-hmm.
But to the Black and Red tournament, we were there. Of course, our friend Jeff Whitener was also there helping call some of those games. But just kind of run through all four games real quick. Seventh place game featured Herculaneum, the host, versus Crystal City. That was a close game that Crystal City came away with a 56-50 win. And fifth place, our young old friend, Paige Fowler, now coaching at Notre Dame St. Louis. They got very impressive in their
Lewis and Clark alumni, right?
Yeah.
I coached with Paige. Had a cup of coffee coaching with Paige at the college level at Lewis and Clark, and now she's head coach at Notre Dame St. Louis. They look great in their fifth place win against DeSoto.
And they were shorthanded for that game.
They were just amazing. And Paige is going to be great. She's so smart and got such a basketball pedigree. But it's no shade to Paige at all to say I was a little surprised with just how good they looked.
Yeah.
And she's doing a great job there. And now she gets back to St. Louis where she battles a whole bunch of talent up there. So it's going to be up and down for her as well this year. But she's doing great. Got a nice fifth place win, 2 out of 3 in that tournament. Third place game, our friend Ben Elick at Lutheran South, they win.
And we have
60-30.
Lovingly dubbed them the what?
The fighting
Elix.
The fighting Elix. Yep. And the huge win in third place game. He wins 2 out of 3 and big games down the stretch. Maybe hopefully we'll get out to Lutheran South and their little dome out there and had a lot of fun out there over the years covering games. And then the main event, Farmington versus North County. MAAA rivals come north to Herculaneum for the championship game.
Yeah.
And wow, what a championship win by Farmington. 47-31 was the final there in Farmington's championship win of the Black and Red over North County.
And Farmington, I mean, the word that kept coming to mind was stifling because North County, I was expecting a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit more, scoring pop, but Farmington just laid that weighted blanket on them and they just never could get going.
Yeah, really, really effective defense and zone defense that they employed with great success that North County just never, the shooting, they got open looks, couldn't knock them down and couldn't find other ways to penetrate. And in the end, too many turnovers, not enough made shots.
Excellent. You missed a tournament there too, the Fountain City tournament. Don't forget to pull that one up as well.
Okay. Well,
before we get to the Star Wars room.
You want to do Fountain City?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do Fountain City.
You want to do it concurrently?
Well, let me pull that up real quick.
We're going to do that. We're going to do that reverse concurrently.
We're going to speak in.
I like it.
Yeah, we're going to speak in Klingon.
I don't know how to do that.
There'll be some Trekkies out there. I'm sure you could Google it.
All right, what? I think that was at DeSoto.
Let's just speak in Ubba Dubby instead.
Oh no! Don't listen. Don't do that.
All right, Fountain City at DeSoto. Girls. Let's go with the girls first. Okay, who won that?
We don't know. You're going to tell us.
Festus. Festus. 59-47 championship win over Potosi.
Because they're great.
Tigers.
See what you just did there. Very nice.
Yes. So we've already had Friskies and Tony the Tiger today. All right.
Hey, we're on a roll.
We should product placement those things.
All right. Like it.
And so good win for the Festus girls, of course, led by their senior point guard, Olivia Madden. Definitely wanted to try to recruit her. But is she committed yet? Do we know?
Do not know yet.
I'll find out.
Jeff might know.
Jeff might know, and we could find out. Maybe see her over the Christmas tournament season. Fine player there. Third place game, Jefferson lost to Sullivan 67-31. Jefferson had won their first round game over DeSoto to make it to the winner's side. But in that fifth place game, DeSoto comes back with the consolation championship, a 55-51 win over Pacific. And seventh place game was St. John beating Northwest. And that was the Fountain City DeSoto tournament back on December 1st through 6th.
Excellent.
Nice recap, sir.
Thank you.
And then we wanted to talk about the boys too, right?
Yep.
All right. Pull that up real quick. So they did a little different. They did a round robin pool with the 6 teams there. The 6 teams were Sykeston, St. John, DeSoto in one pool. And Pool B was Cape Central, Fort Zumwalt West, and Fox, coached by former St. Pius coach Chris Miller Jr. And in that one, the championship came down to Sykeston defeating Cape Central 76-63. Coach Greg Hollifield has a great team again at Sykeston this year, and they get the championship of the Fountain City boys. And third place was Fort Zumwalt West beating St. Genevieve beating Fort Zumwalt West by 3 points, 73-70. And the fifth place game, Fox defeats the host DeSoto 72-46 to come away with fifth place in that one.
Great. Steig Horse tournament now. This is the big one. The granddaddy of them all, we call him.
I thought that was the Rose Bowl.
Well, it is, but
they still do the Rose Bowl?
Yes, they do.
Okay. They got all the toilet bowls and tidy bowls and everything. So I don't know.
All right. Well, the winner of the Steig Horse tournament, we'll just start with that, was Seckman. They're the Tigers too, right?
Yes. No, the Jaguars.
The Jaguar.
The Jaguar. Another cat. My bad. All apologies. Did the coach get a new car?
I doubt it.
21? Okay.
I really doubt it.
NIL has not made its way to high school
unless
yet.
it was like one of those little Hot Wheels ones.
Okay.
This segment brought to you by Jaguar. Okay, thank you.
All right. Seckman defeats Festus 67-48. Seckman really tough this year. Festus, Coach Dan Johnson, son Drew Johnson, now a senior. They're going to be, I think they're good and they're going to be better down the stretch, but not quite ready for Seckman on that day at the Steig Horse, 67-48. Third place, another fine local team, Windsor, does win third place. They won 57-52 over Father Tolton, who came down from Columbia area for this one. Maybe not a quintessential Father Tolton team this year, but still, that's a really good win if you're Windsor. And also Festus, who beat them in the semifinals, beat Father Tolton in the semifinals. And to the fifth place bracket, Lebanon takes fifth place with a 9-point win over Hillsboro, the host, 57-48. And seventh place, North County nipped Northwest
Battle of the North.
Northwest,
The North.
6160 Northwest Cedar Hill, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And just for our local teams in the first round, Hillsborough did pick up a win, beating Northwest, but then they lost to Lebanon. Excuse me, that was that last bracket. They lost their opener to Windsor, 66-60. So when we talk about the JCAA, those three teams at the top, Windsor, Festus, and Hillsborough, all close, but I think they're all separated by a few points. And you got to kind of put the pecking order right now and using this tournament to kind of help us judge to gauge that. You got Windsor and then maybe Festus a few points behind, and then Hillsborough. Of course, you still have Perryville and DeSoto, who are also on the boys' side. But I think those three are kind of the class right now, and we'll see what they can do as the season goes on. Hopefully, if you're maybe a few points back at one of those, you'll find some ways to close that gap.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely, these tournaments here, taking a look at each one of these, walking into this whole thing, you have to be able to just be able to, as a coach, to reevaluate and say, okay, hey, if we did really, really well, hey, this kind of looks like that we're going to be, set up for some success later in the season. For those that maybe not have fared so well, so it's a chance to give them some time to reconvene and retool a little bit in a way, and find some of your, do you say deficiencies, but you find ways to say, okay, this is how we're going to fix this thing, and make some adjustments, and hopefully that ends up faring you well and better later in the season.
Yeah, you have to be willing to face up to the negatives, to your deficiencies, as you said, Ray, and find ways to clean those things up. And you can find a way to maybe try to get away from your weak points and play more to your strong points. But you got to clean those things up throughout the season as much as you possibly can as well.
Well, because if you don't acknowledge them, your opponent certainly will.
Absolutely. Scouting is now you get all the video you want through Huddle and other sources. You don't even have to scout live anymore. Saves a lot of time. So coaches will quickly pick out, your deficiencies. So you got to be honest with yourself, as a coach and as players.
Excellent. Let's look at our tournaments here. We'll be right back with the next segment. It's time for our pick and roll segment here, and we have on the line here James Fox from the DeSoto Dragons. Coach Fox, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How about you?
Excellent. Hey, ladies are playing pretty good right now. Give us a little update on how you think the team's going right now.
Well, we're currently 3 games over 500. So that's very good for us. Last year was our first year in double digits wins in a long time, and this year we're already 3 games over 500. So I really like the pace and improvement and everything we're making this year.
Excellent. Well, it's pick and roll time, and the rules are this: we have 10 questions for you right now. We haven't given you any of the questions. You get to pick 3 of the 10. Just randomly, and they're about coaching, about basketball, so it shouldn't be anything too difficult, but some have been pretty good questions already so far. So give us your numbers, and we'll get started.
Let's go 1, 5, and 10.
1, 5, and 10. I like how you think here. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. It's still early in the season, but what has been the biggest surprise from your team so far?
I think probably the biggest surprise is just our balance of scoring. Right now we've almost got 5 girls averaging double digits. That makes it a lot easier on me as far as stuff that we can run and what we can prepare for, and it makes it a lot harder on the other teams to prepare for us because it can't just be 1 or 2 girls they're able to concentrate on. So that's the pleasant surprise.
Excellent. You said number 5 here. All right, here we go. Number 5, corporations and businesses have hardcore values. What are your core values for your team?
I think our core values is get better every single day. Keep each other up, and just always look for some way to improve. Control the controllables, and just keep moving forward. Don't really dwell on the past. Just keep a positive attitude and keep moving forward.
Great answer. Great answer. Love it. Love it. Number 10 here. For many coaches, a team's leaders are the more tenured players, as in juniors and seniors. In your eyes, how can the younger players ascend into those leadership roles?
I think just, a lot of times just body language and how you come into a practice and a game, the attitude that you bring to that and the work ethic. I feel like, you look at your older athletes, a lot of those are your verbal leaders a lot of the times. But you look at your younger athletes, your freshmen, sophomores that are maybe getting some varsity time. If they can just come in and make sure that their work ethic is the right way, and they're going hard every play, they're trying to do the little things right and lead that way, I think that speaks volumes.
Excellent, excellent. Were they that difficult?
No.
Okay. I was making sure. We always like to have that feedback there because Scotty's the one who gives us these questions here. So we appreciate the time, sir, and good luck to you this season. I'm sure we'll see you down the road here.
All right. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Coach James Fox from the DeSoto Dragons.
Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Coaching Dark Side. Okay, I'm not going to use my scary voice anymore. However, tonight's tale is a very scary one for basketball coaches everywhere. And this scenario deals with the topic of frightening conversations. And no, it's not about if you're a student having to come home and tell your parents why you have 3 Fs on your midterm report card. And it's also not about if you're a coach and you go to the basketball coaches clinic in Las Vegas and have to come home and explain to your wife why little Johnny's college fund is gone. Okay? No, our subject tonight is about a very scary 4-letter word. C-U-T-S. Cuts.
Boom, boom, boom.
Cuts. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about slasher movie cuts, okay? I'm talking about as a coach, and you hold tryouts, and you have 10 spots for varsity and 10 spots for junior varsity. And then you have the very scary and unpleasant task of having the talk with number 21, okay? And let me tell you right now, there is nothing scarier for a coach than that conversation. And I don't care if number 21 has 2 left feet, 2 left hands, they can't run and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Eye patch.
1 eye. Their jump shot looks like a broken lawn chair unfolding. Okay? You will feel 2 feet tall as a coach when you have to tell that player you are crushing their dream and cutting them from the team. And by the way, contrary to opinion, when this conversation's done, you will not feel the weight lifted off your shoulders. No. This talk and this player will haunt you for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
So yes,
Chills.
telling a player that you are cutting them, that is a true tale from the coaching dark side.
And welcome back to Fast Break here. This is a recurring segment that we like to call Ask the Professor. And we just so happen to have the professor. Coach, you've obviously had a pretty tenured career, illustrious at some points.
That means old.
But as we've talked in some of the other segments, sometimes you may not always have the horses that you need in some seasons. And of course, on the schedule, there may be certain games you go into, like 99.9% certain of how a game's going to go. So in those situations, or you maybe have a game where you like, you're really up against it, where it's like you're looking up at Everest of an opponent and you're like, this just isn't going to happen tonight. So in those instances, do you coach the same or do you coach differently?
99.1. So you're telling me there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You play to win the game.
I've heard that said sometimes.
Another little coaching, sporting cliche, if you will. But, here's the thing. You've got to believe that you're gonna win no matter, that what is the point here? I mean, there's a lot of purposes to high school sports, college sports, what have you. And we're trying to develop people for life for sure. But once the ball gets tossed up, opening tip, we're trying to win. Now, the thing is, so you got to be a little bit of an actor maybe pregame. But you have to project. You got to be sincere about it. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Are we talking like any given Sunday energy?
Yeah, and you can't do a knockdown, drag out pregame speech every time because the players will learn to tune that out pretty quickly. And you have to sincerely believe you're going to win, but you also have to rely on what has our preparation been like in the days leading to the game, the weeks and months leading to the game? Has what we've been doing, is that going to give us a chance for success today? Now, having said all of that, you still got to focus on process, and maybe that's the answer right there. Is you look for ways that maybe this is a team that's beaten your school by 50 points the last 10 times you played them. And your pregame speech is not going to be, well, let's just lose by 30 tonight. But if you are going to, motivate your team by saying, look, this is the work we've been doing is going to show up on the scoreboard at some point in time. And if you are doing the right things and everybody believes in what they're trying to accomplish and why you're even, there in the first place, they will start to show up, and that will motivate until you close that gap enough to where they're not 50 or 30-point games or 10-point games or 5-point games. Maybe you can lose on a buzzer beater, but you're getting closer, making progress all the time.
So a lot of your career has been at the high school level, right?
Correct.
So at any point, since there is no shot clock, at any point did you pull a Northwest stall ball game?
Very, very few times. There was one time way back in 2013, I was coaching the team at Bunker, and back when Bunker is not what they are now, which is the number one ranked team in Class 1.
Wow.
In fact, the Bunker team I took over had won one game in 4 years. And so we kind of had to be hard-nosed and face a lot of those situations that you're bringing up. But we were playing a team from Eminence, coached by Hall of Famer Pete McBride, that went on to win the state championship that year. And we did try to, slow the game down, shorten it, where we maybe could get to the fourth quarter, and we kept it pretty manageable. And we were pretty, after the game, we're not happy about losing. Having said that, as a general tactic, if you've prepared all off season, to play a fast break kind of style, and then all of a sudden you take on this team who's beating you up, for the last few years, and then you're trying to sell to your players, well, now I want you just to not do anything we've been working on.
Just go four corners.
And right. And we're just going to take the air of the ball as much as possible and not do all these things. You just beat up, say, one of your other opponents by playing that style, but then you kind of tuck your tail and don't do it against the better team. That's another way for your players maybe to kind of lose faith in the work you've been putting in.
Okay. That checks. Excellent. And that's why we asked the coach.
And we are very excited to bring you one of the great philosophers of our time. We think about people like Socrates or Deep Thoughts by Jack Handey. But instead today, who we have with us, we have Scott Latta, the Freak of Speak, who is also known as the Hoops Whisperer. Scott, Whisperer, take it away.
Whisper. Thank you, Professor. In a previous episode, I offered everyone the idea of protective basketball headgear. You could have the player identification and like the mascot placement. And then, of course, it had the opportunity for like advertisements or sponsors, as well. But moving on, in this episode, as we are trying to get under the wire for 2025, I want to stress the 5 Ds of basketball, not to be confused with the 5 Ds of dodgeball, which are dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. But in basketball, the 5 Ds are a little different. See what I did there? Different? Anyway, to be a successful basketball player, you need the 5 Ds of basketball. You've got dribble, dish, drive, drain a 3, and defense. There you have it, wrapped up in a nice bow. Merry New Year.
Thank you, Scott. I was taking notes. I wish I thought of that while I was coaching. That is the 5 Ds. That is tremendous.
5 Ds of basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Hoops Whisperer. Thank you, Scott.
Scotty, thank you so much. And we'll wrap up our fast break segment here and our show as we say so long. Don't forget to check out all of our games on livestreamstl.tv and also our Roku app. Just download that Roku app for free, and we would love to have you on board here 24/7 as well. For all of us here at Fast Break, Coach Lee Richardson, the Freak of Speak, and the Hoops Whisperer, Scott Lotta, all of us here at Livestream STL. Thanks again for watching Fast Break.
This episode is brought to you by Livestream STL. Livestream STL covers Jefferson County and the South St. Louis area. For sponsorship opportunities for any of these events, call 314-852-4398. Sponsorships can be for a single game, complete season, or a custom package. Help spotlight the young athletes of our area and score a layup for your business with new potential customers.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.